The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The President says suspension of Parate execution is to support entrepreneurship. The newly appointed IGP Deshabandhu Tennakone met with President Ranil. 20 billion rupee rehabilitation project launched today. Sri Lanka to host Digital Economy Summit in July. Organic fertilizer to be included in Sri Lanka's national fertilizer policy. HIV/AIDS infections has increased by 14.3%. And on international news, Trump disqualified from Illinois ballot for his role in the insurrection. Sports, world champions Spain beat France to win Women's National League. President Ranil Wickremesinghe on Tuesday said a temporary suspension of Parate action is a testimony of the government's commitment to support entrepreneurs. President Wickremesinghe said that the Women's Chamber of Industry and Commerce, organized by Pratibha Bishekar Women Entrepreneur Awards 2023, the government is committed to providing maximum support to entrepreneurs. Hence, measures have been taken to defer the implementation of the Parate law until the year's end. It was President's first public pronouncement following the Cabinet of Ministers at its meeting on Monday agreed to suspend the contentious Parate action until 15th December 2024. Micro, small and medium enterprises for months have been demanding a breathing space via immediate suspension of Parate action and offer relief via debt restructuring, reduction in interest, write-offs, longer repayment period. The Cabinet decision was despite warning by the Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe that such a move will not help SMMEs and would be at the cost of banking system stability. However, the Cabinet move follows widespread demand for urgent breathing space for MSMEs and several political leaders backing the same. The temporary suspension has been widely commended by the SMMEs, though the banking sector has expressed serious reservations. A project to rehabilitate 1,500 kilometers of roads across the country will begin at Divisional Secretariat level at a cost of 20 billion rupees today. The aim of this project is to restore the road system that has been seriously damaged due to the non-repair as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic and the economic crisis that prevailed in the last 2 days or 3 years in the country. The Road Development Authority Director General Sadda Veerakone said the authority also has given priority to rehabilitate the road network that has been destroyed due to the landslides and floods caused by the recent torrential rains. The State Minister for Technology, Kanaka Herath, announced that the anticipated National Cyber Security Act will be introduced this year, followed by the establishment of the Cyber Security Authority. Additionally, the State Minister underscored the preparations made for the Digital Economy Summit scheduled to take place in Sri Lanka by the end of July. The summit serves as a platform for fostering innovation, collaboration and investment in digital technologies, thus propelling the country towards a more resilient and prosperous digital economy. Speaking at a press briefing titled Collective Path to a Stable Country held at the President Media Centre today. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The chair of the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Food Security and Agriculture Member of Parliament D. Veerasinghe stated that the use of organic fertilizers should be included in the National Fertilizer Policy. Accordingly, this was discussed when the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Food Security and Agriculture met in Parliament recently under the chairmanship of MP D. Veerasinghe, the Parliamentary Communications Department said in a statement. Conceptual policies for food security prepared by the subcommittee of the National Council on the identification of priorities in the formulation of short, medium and long-term national policies were considered on this day, and the Sectorial Oversight Committee proposed to include several amendments to the plan. The Minister of Transportation, Bandula Gunawardena, said the services of the Department of Motor Traffic will be digitized from March 4, 2024. Addressing the media today, the Minister said following the digitization process, the public will not be required to visit the Department of Motor Traffic. He further said that a mobile application will be introduced for this purpose, while the public can also book their appointments via the Department of Motor Traffic official website. The Minister said as part of the first phase of the digitization program, the mobile application and website will be used to reserve a date and time to obtain services. Meanwhile, the Commissioner General of the Department of Motor Traffic, Nishanta Anuruddha Veerasinghe, said it was a mandatory for the public to reserve a time, the date to obtain the services of the department from March 4th onwards. He further said that reservations can be made by contacting the hotline 2117-116 or by visiting the website www.dmtappointments.dmt.gov.lk. That ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
The newly appointed Inspector General of Police, Deshabandhu Tennakon, met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. Upon assuming duties as the 36th Inspector General of Police in Sri Lanka, Deshabandhu Tennakon met with the President. President Ranil Wickremesinghe extended his felicitations to the new Inspector General of Police and engaged in a friendly conversation with him. As a gesture of respect and tradition, the new Inspector General of Police presented the President with a customary memento. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
And on Watch Light tonight, the National Sexually Transmitted Diseases and AIDS Prevention Program states that the reporting of new HIV infections has increased by 14.3%. This is higher in 2023 compared to 2022. Director Dr. Janaki Vidanapathirana, community medicine specialist, said. She said that last year, 694 new HIV-infected people were identified. Most of them were men, and the number is 611, which as a percentage is 88%. Last year, 81 HIV-infected women were reported, which is 11.7% as a percentage. It is also reported that there are 4,100 infected people in society. The doctors said that if a person is infected with this virus, it takes about 8 years for symptoms to show. That came to you in Watchlight. Coming up, World News. World News headlines first. Trump disqualified from Illinois ballot for his role in the insurrection. Norway says Palestinian Authority receives $114 million from Israel. The UN peacekeepers begin withdrawal from eastern Congo. An Illinois state judge on Wednesday barred Donald Trump from appearing on the Illinois Republican presidential primary ballot because of his role in the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. But she delayed her ruling from taking effect in light of an expected appeal by the former U.S. president. Cook County Circuit Judge Tracy Porter sided with Illinois voters who argued that the former president should be disqualified from the state's March 19 primary ballot and its November 5th general election ballot for violating the anti-insurrection clause of the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment. The final outcome of the Illinois case and similar challenges will likely be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court, which heard arguments related to Trump's ballot eligibility on February the 8th. The Palestinian Authority has received 407 million shekels, $140 million from Israel, with more funds on the way in the coming days following a deal to release frozen tax funds, the Norwegian government said on Thursday. Norway on February 18 said it had agreed to assist in the transfer of funds earmarked for the Palestinian Authority PA that were collected by Israel, providing crucial funding to the Western-backed entity. The United Nations troops began their gradual withdrawal from restive Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday, handing over a base to Congolese authorities, the peacekeeping mission said in a statement. The peacekeeping force, known as MONUSCO, has been deployed in Congo for more than 13 years after taking over from an earlier UN operation in 2020 to help quell insecurity in the east of the Central African country, where armed groups fight over territory and resources. Back to the world news headlines. Trump disqualified from Illinois ballot for his role in the insurrection. Norway says Palestinian Authority receives $114 million from Israel. UN peacekeepers begin withdrawal from eastern Congo. That ends world news. Moving on with development news, adding a historic landmark to the local energy sector, Adani Green Energy Sri Lanka Limited has received the much-awaited and long overdue energy permit from Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority to operate its ground monumental $355 million 234-megawatt Poonareen wind energy power project in the northern province of Sri Lanka. This landmark endeavour not only marks Sri Lanka's largest single-location wind energy project, but also heralds a new era of renewable energy dominance, addressing critical issues like the energy crisis, economic recovery and environmental sustainability. $355 million 234-megawatt Poonareen wind energy power project stands tall as a testament to Adani Green Energy's unwavering commitment to pioneering sustainable solutions. That came to you in development news. Moving on with sports news. Sports news, and Aitana Bonmati scored as Spain added the Women's Nations League trophy to their World Cup title with a comfortable 2-0 victory over France in Wednesday's final in Seville. Spain continued their golden run of form as they prepare for a first-ever appearance at the Olympics in Paris later this year. Hopes are high that France, coached by Hervé Renard, can challenge for the Olympic title on home soil, but they were completely outplayed by Spain. The world champions secured the title at the first attempt for coach Montserrat Tom, who replaced controversial boss Joye Wilda after he was sacked following the World Cup, and ex-Football Federation President Luis Rubiales' forcible kiss on the lips of forward Jenny Hermoso. That came to you in sports news.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Register.lk, Sri Lanka's premier domain and hosting service provider, marks a significant milestone with the launch of its innovative support centre in Colombo 6, located at number 130 High Level Road. The centre is crafted to redefine tech industry support, offering state-of-the-art assistance 24/7 to clients nationwide. For years, the reliance on international sources for domain and hosting services has been a norm in Sri Lanka. 7 years ago, Register.lk set out on a mission to reclaim domain and hosting services for Sri Lanka. Today, standing as the premier provider in the country, the company is opening a new chapter with its Colombo Support Centre, targeting an ambitious milestone to bring back at least 40% of websites currently managed abroad to the island. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And on economic news, a report quoted High Commissioner Santosh Jha says Sri Lanka and India is working on a bilateral investment treaty. The investment treaty is separate from an economic and technological cooperation agreement, which is also under discussion. Jha was quoted as saying by Bloomberg. The report said discussion on the ECTA are at an advanced stage. That came to you in economic news. Finally, the weather report. A few showers will occur in the eastern and Nuwara provinces and in Polonnaruwa, Matale and Nuwara districts. A few showers will occur in the eastern and Nuwara provinces and in the Polonnaruwa, Matale and Nuwara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the western Sabaragama provinces and in Gaul and Matra districts in the evening or night. Fairly strong winds, about 30 to 40 kilometers, can be expected at times in the northern, north-central, northwestern and eastern provinces and in the Hambantota district. That was the weather report, and now to this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President says suspension of Parate execution is to support entrepreneurship. The newly appointed IGP Deshabandhu Tennakoon met with President Ranil. 20 billion rupee road rehabilitation project launched today. Sri Lanka to host Digital Economy Summit in July. Organic fertilizer to be included in Sri Lanka's national fertilizer policy. HIV/AIDS infections has increased by 14.3%. And on international news, Trump disqualified from Illinois' ballot for his role in the insurrection. And on sports news, world champion Spain beat France to win Women's Nations League. And that ends this news broadcast. And now it's back to Romesh Puris tonight. And of course, Navidu is present on the other side as always. So back to you both. And I'm sure you are going to have a wonderful time with your kind of music at your request from now until 10 p.m. Back to you, Romesh and Navidu on the other side.